Hi everyone, this is Faye from Acorn Felting. Today's project is an easy beginner's project, Truffles the Pig. This project includes everything we've learnt so far. Now though, we start to attach different parts to create something more complex. And we also learn how to do the triangle thin ears and a little tiny bit of 2D felting. We start by creating the ball. We've already done the ball, so I'm going to reduce this to give you a general idea, but if you need to do the ball and you haven't done it before, please see my ball tutorial. The link is below. Take your core wool if you're using it, or your coloured bats, and tuck and roll and tuck and roll and pin it to make a circle. Start to use your large felting needle to create your ball shape. Felt down until you have a fairly firm ball shape ready to attach your coloured wool to. As you can see here, my core wool is not the best. Ideally, you want something that's easier to use. Now the wool is really starting to felt down and it's starting to take a good shape. Once you get to the stage where you're having resistance from your needle, you need to change to a smaller size needle so that you can felt the wool even tighter and tighter. What you're aiming for here is a tight, firm ball that doesn't squeeze down very much when you squeeze it with your finger and thumb. It should also look really round. If you have a look at this ball, you can see that you can still got lots of lumps and it's nowhere near round. If you need to drop more than one needle size, do so. If you've decided to use core wool and then put the colour on top like I have here, now is the time to start adding your coloured wool. As you can see, the ball isn't yet fully felted. If you'd fully felted it, it would be very difficult to add the coloured wool to the top. Tear off your coloured wool. If you're using top stroke roving, you need to mash up your wool so that it looks and acts more like the batting. Take your coloured wool and add it to your ball. Don't try to cover the whole ball with the colour in one go. You don't have to, just add bits. You need to make sure that it's felted firmly all over. You should not be able to detach it very easily from the core wool underneath. It should be as one ball. When you have enough of your colour on your ball and it's covered and firm, Make sure that there are no white parts sticking through. Just check it over and have a look, and if there's any, just patch it with coloured wool. I'm rolling out to get rid of some of the needle marks and to even it out slightly. Next, truffles need some feet. We need to create 4 even feet. To do this, you pull off enough wool for the feet, as you can see roughly how much here, and you create 4 even sections. You might not get it 100%, don't worry, you can always add parts later to even it out. Creating 4 cone shapes, but with the top flattened. Felt down your first foot until you have a rough shape. Don't felt it down completely because you want to have room to work all 4 together. Put that one aside and do the same with all the other 3 feet. The larger end of the feet that are attached to the body need to be left unfelted. If you look here, you can just see that the ends are still loose. This is because you need something to attach and felt into the body. If it's all firmly felted, it doesn't attach very well, and it makes harder work of it. Once you've got the 4 feet, then you can work on them again and continue until you've got a tight shape. Work out before you start felting roughly where you want the feet to go. Take one of the feet and use your needle to felt it roughly in place. Don't felt it firmly, just lightly, just in case you need to take it off again. It looks really silly with one foot sticking out. Now do the same with each of the feet until you have all 4 roughly in place. Then once you're happy with the position of the feet, start using your needle. In this case, I'm using my red needle, size 38 gauge. Felt around the edges, and also I like to felt down from the middle as well because I feel that it felts more firmly. For the snout, roll up a really small piece of wool and create a tiny oval shape. Felt this shape, leaving one end open, ready to put onto the pig. Position Truffles' snout evenly between the 2 front feet and also centrally on the ball. Use your needle to lightly position into place and check that you're happy with the snout's position before felting it in to the pig firmly. Felt as you did the feet. Make sure that you felt it all around firmly and through the centre of the nose, and make sure that it won't pull loose easily. For the ears, pull off 2 even parts of wool and create 2 triangles, keeping one end loose to attach to truffles. Work these 2 shapes together so that they become the same size. When you're happy with the size, check them against each other to make sure they are even. If you're having any difficulty with the edges, simply fold the edges over gently and then felt them. This smooths the edge and creates a better finish. To position the ears, create a triangle between the ears and the snout. Make sure that ears are lined up and positioned at the same height and are not wonky. Also check the angle of the ears to make sure they're both the same. Put the ears high enough to allow for positioning eyes. Once you're happy with the ears position, use your needle to felt them firmly in. Felt both sides of the ears. Make sure you have felted every single loose strand in, and if it's still loose, continue to felt. If you want the ears to bend slightly, fold the ear over and felt down the center very, very gently. This should help it fold over slightly. For the eyes, pull off 2 black even bits of wool, very tiny. You might find it's too tiny to felt much on your mat. If so, no biggie, just felt them onto the pig straight away. Make sure you position them again on your triangle and even height. Just lightly felt them in, check that you're happy with the shape. If you have any loose fibres, gently push them in because you want them as smooth as possible. Once you've done your black parts of the eyes and you're happy, position the whites. For truffles, I've positioned them up and to the left. You might prefer your pig's eyes to look down, to the right, to the left, it doesn't matter. Now, when I felted these, it wasn't until after I'd created this video that I realised that I'd actually done the 2 white slightly differently and it looks funny. I changed his eyes after the video to make them look more even. When you finish your eyes, you can do the tail, but just make sure you put your pig to one side and then come back and check, because sometimes a bit of time lapse helps you think about and see things slightly differently. For the tail, I pulled out a strand and felted a strip on the felting mat and then curled it up and felted it onto the pig. There are lots of different ways you could do the tail. You could simply have pinned it on, you could ignore the tail, you could create a little cute string with a bead on the end. Just do something that you're happy with. It doesn't have to be like this tail at all. After all, you want to create a unique, cute pig for you. So Truffles is now finished. I hope you enjoyed this project. Please remember to like if you did, and if you have any comments and questions, please let me know below. Thank you.